Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're gonna talk about mobile competition. So let's dive right into it. Well, first, this world is very tough. Basically, mobile manufacturing is a very tough business. The primary reason for that, it is one of the most important industry at this point in time. Importance as in like if people are holding your smartphone, you have a much larger reach, which directly translates to public perception. What does that mean? That simply means in terms of money, stock market values are the primary thing. Specifically, if you are dealing with stock market, you could literally be a company that has like, let's say like Samsung, which has 80 sub corporation inside it, which are all larger than basically Apple. Some builds like a weapon system, some builds actual buildings, some builds shipping containers. Like you get the point. Like basically large industry which has actual real world value, but a company that only makes electronics can still basically have out evaluation simply because of public perception on stock market. So that matters a lot. So basically large amount of money and power are controlled due to this environment. So this is very, very critical. And over time, basically mobile phones started out something that only few people once could choose that. Then over time mobile phones became ubiquitous. Almost every Tom, Dick and Harry had that. Now smartphones are at a point where we are utilizing smartphone for more and more of our activity. From example being from making calls to making payments, and payments are important. So flat out you can understand that, right? From document management and all that jazz. But smartphones are no longer being like as just a luxurious piece of equipment. No, it's a compulsory piece of equipment for many professions. So flat out it has reached a point what we call need. It's no longer like a want, it's a need. We have to have it. That also makes it very long-term stable. For example, you could find many luxury car company, be it Rolls-Royce, be it Lamborghini, that are like, that sounds awesome, but once you look into it, you're like, dude, you have been bought and sold so many times because it was not profitable, because they were dealing with want. While you can compare that to, let's say, Honda, Maruti, Tata, these sort of companies, and they're like, they've been in business for long enough and they're making money like there is no tomorrow. Why? Because they're making need, not want, need. So fundamentally that creates an environment where there is cutthroat competition, flat out capturing mobile world. And there are three core markets of it: China, India, USA. Now you may be like, why these three? Simply because if you combine all these three, you are talking about most of human population. In terms of actual global population, like these three are the largest concentration of people out there on the planet. So fundamentally these three are the biggest market players at this point in time. Now, you have to understand that this market was always big. Mobile phone started as a small luxurious device. It also became very important. I'm talking about smartphone, but again, mobile phone was the precursor to that. So why the heck the giants like Nike, Nokia, BlackBerry, Sony Cybershot, and Motorola, and all other jazz, why the heck they did not become, the legends of this world? Simply because experience did not mean much in this industry. Experience can help you like to have a supply chain, to figure out issues, to like have make sure that your factories are producing properly, you have a proper pipelines, rules, regulation, but does not translate to you into making you a device that like every town that Harry wants it, or making a marketing campaign that is effective enough where people want to actually utilize that. So you could literally be in a scenario where it's like, I had everything but you had nothing. And slow is not acceptable. This world is anything but slow. So flat out mobile industry is moving at a pace where you could literally start, hey, this mobile phone has 1 GB of RAM, damn, this mobile has 4 GB of RAM. And just a few months ago we already crossed 18 gigabytes of RAM on a mobile phone. To give you a context, my desktop has only 16 GB. There are people who are utilizing laptops that have less RAM than that. So you can understand the slow is not acceptable in this. Slow and steady wins the race does not apply to this. Flat out your pace of innovation, be it software based, be it camera based, be it AI based, be it whatever, it has to be fast. It has to become better every year. And that's why the fact something like big as Nokia, something big as BlackBerry, something big as Sony Ericsson, something as big as Motorola, they all vanish, poof, gone. Now why the heck is it so difficult for these companies that had a successful market hold? Like Nokia at a point was like, I am Nokia, that's it, the end, I don't have to say anything more than that. Nokia, the end, go home. So why the heck a company can go that high and just disappear after that? Simply because in smartphone world everything matters. Now primary thing is these old companies, they were relying on the fact that a good device will get the job done. Right now, that's not the key anymore. Every Tom, Dick and Harry, whoever buys a phone, no matter how cheap that phone is, every Tom, Dick and Harry is expecting that phone to be good. I only buy phone that are like, $200, or like, let's say I barely touch 20,000 rupees, but I still expect my phone to be goddamn good. Like, of course, I do have a realistic expectation. I'm not expecting to have the optical quality of, like, let's say the highest end flagship, but it should be capable enough to fight a 2-year-old flagship. So fundamentally, good device, it's a given at this moment, right? If you are in this industry, that's a given. Then brand perception. Now in this department, Apple is god here at this point in time. Flat out brand perception. So basically, their poop sells like gold at this point in time. So flat out brand perception allows you to monetize properly, where you can reach a point where it's like, dude, I can make this device for let's say $200 hardware, $200 for the software, and I can sell it for, instead of let's say 500 with $100 profit, I can sell it for 1,000, and people will still buy it. That gives you a lot of room for next R&D, lot of room for your having large stock values. It has benefits. So brand perception matters a lot. So you could have a scenario where if every Tom, Dick and Harry associates your device with cheap devices, it will literally vanish out of the market, which happened to Micromax. Then we come to marketing aspect, and in this department, people may LG and HTC both are like guilty of this sort of thing, where they did not take it seriously enough. Samsung put lot of money, as in like there is no tomorrow kind of money, into making basically advertisements, and they were putting lot of effort into it. They were trying, you may say they were trying hard, but at least they were doing. What does that translate to? That translates to people are talking about them. That gave them opportunity, where it's like they had mental space captured of the public, and they're like, that's a smart Samsung phone. I looked at it, they had a cool ad, there's a cool looking ad, let's try that. Just in those sort of scenario, that matters a lot. HTC never did that. LG did try it, but not to that same extent. So that directly translates to it being faded away. And given the fact that we recycle, not recycling, basically we change our phones very quickly, as in like every 2 years, and because Android is a central thing which which allows you to transport your content from one to another without any issue, it does not matter. You don't have brand loyalty. Now Apple does have that, but you don't. So as in like every other Android manufacturer. So word of mouth also plays a very important role. If every other person who holds a Samsung phone and they're flat out, they are saying, dude, this phone is very laggy, this phone is very slow, it does not matter how good everything else is, people will simply might not prefer to buy it. And then we come to economics. Now this is a very painful part for the companies that are trying to make phones that are very low, because there is a limited amount of cost cutting you can do, because you still have to make the goddamn device, package the goddamn device, and ship the goddamn device. All these three things have fixed cost. Basically packaging and shipping will be fixed. It does not matter whether you are shipping iPhone or you're shipping M20. It does not matter. Those costs are fixed. So fundamentally you cannot drop the price beyond a certain point. Like actual cost to the company will not go down. That's why every company, be it Samsung, be it MI, they always try to make devices that are ludicrously expensive, because manufacturing cost would be low and the profit margin would be idiotically high. That's the whole point of Samsung Fold. Now they are very expensive, but they are trying to create a niche where people are comfortable spending that $2,000, and once they mass produce it, it will be like, yeah, we make it for let's say $700, we sell it for that kind of profit, double the profit. So everything matters in this industry. You cannot slack off on one thing. You cannot be like, I made amazing device, people were like, no, I made amazing device, I had good marketing, awesome. No, your word of mouth was bad, which was issue with LG. Many people had this perception, not guarantee, perception, just word of mouth, that it does not get software update. Now loss of LG is the primary reason why I'm making this video, is simply because LG was slowly fading away. That was the reality. Basically they had little bit of profit. For a company this size, they had a little bit of profit. Like they're supposed to be making profit in billions, not millions, but they had something. But then it started to go down. 2015 quarter more down, 2016, 2017, and at this point in time, by the time I'm making this video, their losses were so severe they had to make profit for around 5-6 years continuously, and then they might be able to pay off the debt that they had incurred because of this industry. So flat out LG was going away. It was like, only the question was how they will go away. Either they will sell off the brand like Nokia did, or they have to close the doors. Now this is kind of odd that this is the first time a company just like close the door. So they did that. And the primary description why a company of this magnitude failed is simply because of poor marketing. They basically followed the footstep of HTC. Now there was no unique product from them. Now you may be like, this looks unique enough, why the heck I'm calling this not unique enough? This is where Asus played their hand quite amazingly well. Asus made a phone that you can buy at the same price of, let's say, OnePlus. for example, in Indian market. That gives them advantage that they are in the same showroom as people can afford it. Now, if you can make amazing phones, let's say Samsung Fold or Hawaii Fold, those are awesome phones, but yes, everybody would want that, nobody would buy that. That's the sole reason why Lamborghini and Rolls Royce, these keep failing time and time again. So that's the primary thing. You can make something that looks wow, but nobody's gonna buy it. But you want something in low budget, and basically every people can buy it and be like, wow, that's awesome. For example, Samsung M series, why does it's so popular? Every Tom Dick and every reviewer will be like, oh, the processor, it's an Exynos processor, it's really bad, it's like, it's a really worst thing in the human history. But why the heck they are selling like hotcakes? Simply because they have OLED, and one of the good things about a good smartphone, a giant ass battery. Nobody cares other than that. It's like it's not a basically gaming phone, it's a basic simple smartphone. What do you need a basic smartphone for? Good display, good battery life, and everything else. Running WhatsApp, running Facebook does not require too much processing power. So flat out, having a unique product like M series kind of, which is very popular in India, A series, which is very popular in Europe, Fold series for ludicrously rich people, you get the point. Like, it is in a position where like they have unique things. Now LG does not have that. Like, there is nothing where I am saying like, hey, buy LG's this device. You won't be like, wow, like it has something wow factor. There is no such thing. And the official announcement was done on basically 5 April 2021. They decided to call it quits. Now this is very weird because that generally never happens. Even Sony had gone through the same thing, but they never called it like quits. They're like just like slowly let it fade it away. They never closed it. They never had like, you know, curtains down kind of moment, and they're trying to come back again. But LG like looked into the market and they're like, yeah, this is not gonna survive very long well enough. It's like, let's just close the door. So they're gonna wait for their inventory to end up. Basically, new manufacturing done, the end. No longer new manufacture products will be manufactured. R&D done, go home. All those things will be absorbed in other divisions. But basically inventory they have, however they have manufactured, that's gonna be like the last products that you could buy. So this is kind of a very big deal, simply because this is one of the largest company out there. This LG is next to basically Samsung when it comes to OLED technology. So flat out, it's not a small corporation. This is a giant corporation with multi-billion-dollar evaluation. Them closing the door where it's like, no, we can't deal with this, that is a very significant thing. So what does it translate to basically consumer, you or me? Well, you have to understand that the more competition we get, the more everybody is on their toes. And yes, competition does make Apple also work hard, simply because Apple were reaching a point where they're like, people were like, dude, you are charging a lot, give me something. People would not ask that if there was no Samsung, if there was no MI, if there was no Hawaii, if there was no other brand. Nobody would ask Apple to, hey, dude, please make sure your phone has good low light performance. And again, flat out, unless you are an Apple sheep, in every basically blind test, you will find Apple cameras were not up to the mark. Basically, Android have caught up so quickly. Like, flat out, Apple Siri was amazing because there was no competition. The moment the competition was like, dude, Google beat your DARPA technology in like a freaking year or so. Google had largest data set, so flat out, it was easy to do. So you get this point. Competition makes everybody precise, whereas they're like, no, we have to do good, we cannot just be like slacking off. That's why you want to have competition. And I do hate the fact that Samsung is like, I do not know who's their product manager, and it's like how high they are. Like, I do not know what they are smoking and how much they are smoking. I'm like, they are smoking in tons. It's like, why do you have 700 products? Make few products, properly support them, polish them to the last extent, and you will be the most amazing company out there. It's like, nah man, if somebody complain about we don't have a good ultrawide, release a new model with just changing that, a new ultrawide. Because they're like, dude, we want this, change that, just make a new model. They have one processor and they have 85 models out of that. This is really bad. That's why like Samsung is not beating Apple. They can flat out beat Apple because they have all the core technology, and software part is also catching up at this point in time. So they should be able to do that, but they are like, and technically speaking, all the MIs, Hawaiis and all that, while they are a big threat, but they are not tangible threat, simply because Samsung semiconductor is like granddaddy of all. So because of the competition, we got good price to performance ratio. The fact that I have an OLED in my pocket that costed less than 20,000 rupees in India, which has like a good processor, again, not like latest greatest, good processor, gets the job done with a big ass battery. Here's the deal. Few years ago, not even few, like months ago, like you can go like 18 months ago or 20 months ago, if you have said something like that, people would have laughed you out of the room. But that's possible simply because of competition. And the benefit of that, like again, going very low on cost. If every Tom, Dick and Harry starts to make a mobile that is like, no, mine is cheaper than yours, that's not a good thing to be. But it does allow some unique perspective. different approaches to problem solving. For example, I really like what Asus did here, simply because Asus was playing in the mobile gaming arena, basically mobile phone arena, long enough, and they started with a like Intel partnership. They had a Intel processor based phone. That did not work out, but they did not back down. They are like they went back, retooled their equipments. They had like a crazy optical lenses and all that jazz. But over time they started to find a niche, gaming phones, and they made a phone that you can buy at the same price as OnePlus or Note 20, or basically high-end phones, same similar price basically. And heck, the early 2 3 versions were actually cheaper comparatively speaking. So you could buy something more or less the same price as any other smartphone, but it was made to do one thing and one thing well beyond anything else. It was a goddamn good gaming phone. Flat out, there are not that many gaming phones. That gave them advantage. From Asus went from nobody knows about them to every big tech you were directly begging Asus, hey Asus, can you send us your ROG 5? So that is amazing thing, because they did something amazingly unique. They do have a very expensive version, but the starting price, it literally matches a starting price of every other smartphone. So again, a mid-range kind of smartphone. So that's why this is amazing. Now imagine Asus was not there. Samsung will only make a basically iPhone, like, no, my phone is better. That's not good enough. Your phone has to be unique. Now they do have Fold, but again, Fold is out of reach for most people. So Note was good. Note was really good, and that allowed the phablet model to become a realized. Now every phone is phablet. So they did amazing things. It's just like their phones does not have like, no, I am a this kind of phone. Asus does have that. Now again, Sony is also trying to do the same. They are like, dude, mine is a pro tool which you can buy to do things that other phones can't do. Basically, my phone has HDMI capture, which no other company does that at this point in time. So that's amazing. So that's why we want basically competition as a customer. Simply, it allows unique things to be there. Like I would willingly, gladly pay for a smartphone that is like, let's say, a bit more expensive. Let's say my phone cost is 20,000 rupees. That's very low end, around $200, a bit more than that. And let's say there is a phone that is like $300, but it does have HDMI capture. I will like, shut up and take my money. I would like that feature. And because live streaming is such a big deal, people will willingly, gladly pay for that. So same way people are paying for ROG phones. That's the whole reality. It's like the more unique products you want, the more competition you need to have in order for people to take that risk. Asus did pay that, and right now, as of me making this video, Asus is like slowly starting to make enough money where they're like, no, we will also have the high-end one, we will also have our bulk models, and we're gonna make some serious profit. So as a customer, we really want more and more and more competition, not less. So this was my presentation on basically mobile competitions. I hope you liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.